Hey, Rich Jason, welcome to another Primal The Awakening. This is our last video for the core hunters. Check out the previous three if you haven't. We have other videos for the rules and some of the tokens, and then we'll start heading into the monsters if you're watching these in order. Let's go ahead and hop right into this. We're going to look at Ljonar. I'm going to assume that's how it's pronounced. The J is kind of a silent name. He kind of has like a lion motif to him. But he is the sword and shield, which is it's a giant shield. So it's kind of a little bit departure from the other characters. They have a giant sword, they have a giant bow. We have the hammer, which is very huge. It's a huge hammer. And he gets a huge shield. But again, it's not just like, well, you can't just have a shield. It's a shield and a sword. But obviously, if we have an attacker, we have the ranged characters is kind of a stealthy hits from a distance, stays out of the way of stuff. We have the tank, who's going to be like right up front, dealing front damage, maybe getting hit a little bit more. He's should be our defensive character, but we'll see what he does when we get into him. Let's look at his miniature quick first. If the camera wants to focus on him, yeah. Okay, he's got like a lion-ish helmet on, or some sort of animal. He's got a little blade there. Definitely still looks pretty deadly. Different colors. There's this awesome monstery shield. Like, is that just carved out of the metal, or did he flay some monster and put his face on there? That's up to you. I love the back even, right? So he has like, we can see the handle is, but he's in like a wood and like some spots holding the front onto the back. It's really neat detail because you could have just skipped that. He's got a little tiny cloak above his waist cloak as well. Very interesting. And if we kind of pull his picture back up here, just see some of that in a little bit more detail. Yeah, big giant metal shield. I don't remember if that's one of the actual shields. I don't think it's always it's sort of funny. They have like these images, but I don't think that's any of their actual weaponry in the game. Like, it's definitely not their starting weapons. It's kind of interesting they show like these alt versions. Just so that's kind of cool to be like, what I thought about if they made like exclusive Kickstarter stuff, that would have been cool. It's like even if it wasn't like a brand new thing, like just even like a promo pack or something, like be alt weapons, or alt art weapon and armor, like base stuff that looked like these ones versus the regular one. That would have been kind of cool. Alright, let's hop in and look at what his abilities are here. Just so we know what they are when we trigger them. He has yellow. So I think each player's had one of the different colors. Darren was red. Thorg was blue stuff, mainly like that. He was focusing on that. I think Mira she had blue as well. So I don't think we have anyone that really focused on green. But he just kind of focused on yellow, which is parrying, which makes sense, right? Attack, maneuvering. He's going to be kind of parrying with this shield, which is obviously what parrying blocking is. So if you play a yellow, trigger when you play a yellow parry card. If you play a red after, you got to do that effect. Play a yellow before, do that effect. If you do your mastery, get this ability if your mastery is focused. And if he has a shield, it's your weapon level. Very simple. I'm going to start off with his keywords. He has assist, which all the players have. Once per turn during another player's turn, either before or after any action, you may perform an assist by discarding a card with the keyword assist from your hand. If you do the act, the player draws one card. Confuse. Place a confused token on the monster board and turn the monster to a sector of your choice. The next time the monster would activate a boost effect, discard the confused token instead and cancel that effect. Still pays the boost cost. Then at the start of the next round, the confused token is still in play. It is discarded. So if it doesn't use that, then it's not a big deal. But like a turn, guys, is very helpful because you can put them in either away from somebody else or cancel a behavior that might trigger later on. If you confuse them early enough, you might be able to turn them into a sector that works to your advantage. Cool. And plus also stopping boosts are very helpful. Opening. The card ability that begins with this keyword opening means the ability is only triggered for the first card in your sequence. So a starting attack. Resilience. After you suffer attack, you may reveal one card with the keyword resilience from your hand to draw one card. Yeah, so you take damage, but get a card out of it, so it can help get something else. So if you play a red card, take damage from a reaction, you can turn around and get another card, which might let you play something better or different. Maybe I couldn't afford this other card, now I can. Taunt during other player's turn. You may taunt the monster by discarding a card with the taunt from your hand. If you do, the active player draws one card. You take the aggro token, and the monster immediately turns to your sector. So this is kind of like almost a semi-mixture of assist and confuse. Because it's on the other player's turn, so you get to draw a card, much like assist. But then kind of like confuse, you have to turn the monster. The only thing is you have to turn it towards him. But this probably works well with his resilience ability. And he is vulnerable. When a monster is vulnerable, well, a monster is vulnerable when you or another player deals damage to that monster. You may discard a vulnerable token to double that damage. If it's still at the end of the round, discard it. Cool. So we'll come back and be referencing them periodically. His base weapons, there's his base shield and sword, or sword and shield rather. All 6s, 2 damage like everybody else. But if you play a yellow card, you get to remove a struggle. So basically gives him blue and yellows to do remove struggles. So that's pretty cool. If we jump into fire for red, we have the volcano. Big tower looking shield with like molten swords and shield. So you go 6, 4, 5, and 5, so there's a little bit of maneuvering. When a behavior card is revealed and you are in the front sector, you may suffer attack to cancel the effects of that card, max 1 per round. If you do, the monster gains 1 struggle. So interesting. So he can force attacks upon himself to negate behavior cards, which could be very, very helpful depending on what the behavior card is. I am also, I have to check the rules because I don't know if it says in there or not. But I'm wondering is if you cancel a behavior card, if the reaction card would still trigger, or if it basically negates it because it didn't finish. That'd be a very interesting thing to double check. I'll try and look at it before the end of this video. Volcano. Retaliate. Green and blue, and then deal 3 damage. So, yeah, he has retaliate. We didn't see that keyword listed on there. It says behavior cards revealed when you're in the front sector. You may do 3 damage. I'm going to assume if he plays those 2, he gets to do extra damage back. Let's see what the official wording is. Retaliate color. A card ability that begins with this keyword is followed by a specific color requirement. Means whenever you suffer damage, you may reveal the corresponding cards from your hand to trigger. So a green and a red. For each damage you suffer, you can only trigger the ability once, even if you reveal multiple colors. Still, that's nice, though. A color may be a single requirement, red, or specific number of colors, whatever. Multiple cards are required. You must reveal all those exact cards in those specific colors at the same time to be able to trigger. Cool. So yeah, so if he gets damage, he can then reveal a green and a red to deal 3 damage right back. So that's neat. So he's going to try and draw the monsters in, right? Take the damage. And he's going to deal a little bit of damage right back. And I love how the shield starts, the red stuff just crackles into like crackling red lava. And now Retaliate does 5 damage instead. Cool. For Horn, we have the Horn Wall. Ooh, that seems like 3 skulls with like flattened down there. You may spend stamina tokens to assist other players in your sector instead of discarding a card with the corresponding keyword. Cool. You can spend stamina to let them draw extra cards. So if you don't really have much else going on, spend your stamina to finish off to help somebody else. Neat. And it's 5, 5, and 5, 5. 4 5s. Level 2, gain some more horns on there. Now this is one that's kind of crazy because it's like horns also now they're on the outside, they kind of spike up more. You broke up. He's just collecting horns off of monsters. May spend stamina to assist other players or taunt the monster instead of discarding a card. Ooh, that's cool. It's neat. You can use stamina instead of discarding, so you still have those cards to use for other things. And look at this. Now he adds some to the front too. He's like, the side ones weren't enough. Let's add some to the front. Let's add some mini skulls to our sword. Some scrolling text. And then like the horn, I don't know why, but the horn always on level 3 changes its numbers. So it gets 7 instead of 6 for its yellow. And that's the only one that does that. If you play a yellow, remember struggle token, plus you can discard to do assist or taunt. Cool. That's kind of neat. Alright, then we have Coral. The watercolor. Ocean Shield. It's kind of like a shiny swimming surface. It's neat. And like the sword looks really cool. 5, 6, 5, and 4. So a little more maneuvering. Blue and red. Heal 1, max once per turn. So usually blue is healing. Upgrade it, we're going to add a giant crab or lobster on the front. Blue and red to heal 2. Start. Search your discard pile for a card of your choice and place it on top of your deck. Nice deck stacking. I'm going to add some more crustaceans on there. This sword also gets a little shimmery color. Heal 3. Start search your discard pile for a card of your search and add it to your hand. Nice. So that could help actually then trigger your extra abilities. Cool. Alright, our next one is Crystal. Darkstone Shield. Ooh, neat. 4, 5, 6, and 4. So some more parries and maneuvers. Retaliate yellow. Ooh, so a little bit easier to retaliate than the other one, but it says reveal the top card of your deck if it is a red, deal 2 damage. So a little bit easier, it's only one color card, but it doesn't automatically do damage. So there's a difference there. And then we get this, which has some more crystalline growth on it. Retaliate yellow. Reveal the top card of your deck if it's a red, deal 2 damage. Same thing. When another player would suffer attrition damage, you may reveal a card from their hand. If you are in the front sector, you may reveal a card of the same color from your hand to reduce the attrition damage by 2. Interesting. Kind of specific to use because you have to be in the front sector, but it sounds like Ljonar is going to want to hang out there a bunch anyhow, probably. But yeah, that's kind of neat, right? You have to both have the same color and that, but reducing it by 2 is not bad at all. And then the third one, which just like extra crystals on the front, some like black growth. So that one says, now you reveal a yellow. If the card is an attack card, deal 3 damage. So then now it's not just red, it can be red or blue, so that's helpful. And then the other ability now reduces it by 3. That's fun. For Thunder, we have Thunder Core. So the middle is just a giant set of lightning bolts. Interesting. 5, 5, 6, and 4, so a little bit more parrying. Retaliate with parry. Place 1 counter on this card. If you play a yellow and 2 red, deal 1 damage for each counter on this card, and discard all counters. Neat. So you can basically just keep building this up. And then when you hit that specific sequence, you can do some extra damage. And then it swells up more. The inside just now starts glowing purple. Plus we have some more crystalline building up on the outside. Retaliate, place a counter, deal 2 damage for each counter on this card. And then the third one, big yellow lightning through all of it, plus the sword also has its lightning. Retaliate, place a counter. And then you can stun the monster and deal 3 damage. Cool. I like that there's no maximum amount, so you can keep building this up, and then deal a bunch. So you can deal 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever you need at the time. The only downsides of it is 1, you have to retaliate, which means you have to take damage first to be able to do this. But you're probably going to take damage anyhow, right? You just have to also have a yellow card. Then you have to play a yellow and 2 red. So it's a little bit more restrictive because it's not going to hit every time you take damage unless you happen to have a yellow card. And you could have 15 counters on there, but if you can't manage to draw those 3 colors, it's not going to make a difference. But there's plenty of ways, assists and all this stuff to help you do stuff. You can keep cards in your hand. Hey, I have 2 red, just don't play them, right? You have to sacrifice playing an attack a turn to be able to do this extra damage, right? Alright, then we have our final weapon. We have the metal, we have the brass wall, which just looks like a giant, like, coffin, which is scary. And a sword with this giant openings in it. 4, 6, 6, and 4. So he doesn't have a lot of attacks. He got a lot more maneuvers and parries, which definitely makes sense. Retaliate blue, remove 1 struggle. So he has a lot of retaliate. So again, he's gonna be I think in the last one I said Thor is your tank because he wants to be up front. He's your melee tank. He's like definitely your guy that's gonna be up there drawing damage to him, but this guy's gonna be almost more of a tank because he wants to Ljonar, because he wants to take the damage purposefully, because he can retaliate for it. Cool. So we move 1 struggle. Brass wall, but could we get some gears in there? So is it gonna slam shut? That'd be kind of neat. Play a yellow and a blue to for a straw, so it's a little bit harder to retaliate this time. It's not even 2 colors, but reduce the damage you suffer by 1 and remove 1 struggle. It also helps you stay alive a little bit more. And when another player's sector would suffer attrition damage, you may suffer that damage instead. Cool. And then finally we have level 3, get some more gears and some on the sword. And it goes back to retaliate blue, reduce the damage by 1 struggle. So it goes from just removing a struggle to adding the yellow to removing the damage, reducing the damage, and then it goes back to both just for 1 blue. And then you may suffer that attrition damage instead. Cool. Let's hop into his deck. Alright, quick before we move on to the actual deck cards, I had to clarify some rules here I wanted to point out. 1 is suffering attrition damage is just a reminder, it still does the monster's damage value. So if you have something that would prevent monster's damage, or if it says you would take that amount of damage from a monster, you can use the attrition damage as well. So if it says like take damage, reduce that damage by whatever, like the 3 slashes, just like so you may suffer the damage. If you had something that prevented that amount of damage or did something, it would also work for attrition damage. But if something specifically says attrition damage, it only does it when during the attrition step and not from monster attacks. So it's just kind of cool that it covers both. The other thing I did want to point out was on like this card. It says when a behavior card is revealed, if you're on the front sector, you may suffer attack to cancel the effect of that card once per round. So even though the card's been revealed, if you're canceling the effect, it cancels everything that would happen after that, including the rampage. So if there's a rampage out on there, this definitely might be worth taking the damage from that attack to prevent a rampage from happening. But again, that means if you play another thing, the rampage will happen afterwards. I did want to check that because I was like, I guess if you have like one of the stun cards where it puts it on a behavior and it cancels it from revealing, so that card doesn't even reveal itself. But I thought, well, if it reveals itself, is it still going to trigger? It just turns off the effects of it, but it's still revealing. It might rampage. It cancels all that as well. So that makes that even more awesome. All right, then we're going to hop into our deck. We're going to look at our mastery first. We have Shield Mastery. If you play a yellow, then a red, put a counter on this card. So you do this 3 times, and we flip it to focus it. So every time we play a yellow, you deal 2 per level of shield damage. Or play a yellow and a red, increase the amount of damage the attack deals by 3. That's cool, right? So just by playing yellow, you get to do a damage, and you play a red right after it. Also, now your attack does more damage. So this guy's going to bash you with his shield. Our red starter cards are Aggro Strike. Assist. Increase the damage. This attack is dealt by 1 for each aggro icon in your discard pile. So this has to be red up at the top like that. But again, if he's focusing your damage on him, that's cool. Beyond Limit. Taunt. You may suffer 1 damage. If you do, 1 level of damage. If you do increase the damage, this attack deals by 2 person and choose 1 player to draw a card. Awesome. So basically, you take a little bit of damage to then turn around and do twice as much damage back to your back, and then another player gets a card to help them out. Shield Dance. When your master is focused, ignore the stamina cost of this card. Play a yellow before this. Increase the damage of this attack deals by 3. So yeah, imagine just, you know, I don't like doing this too terribly much, but I like looking at some of these combos, right? So if your master is focused, you played your first yellow, you do your 2 shield damage, then you play this shield dance red card. Now increase the damage to this attack by 3, and then increase the amount of this damage the attack does by 3. So now you're increasing it by 6. And because this is focused, this card's actually free, right? So you do 2 times your level. So if you're level 2, you deal 4 damage. Or 2 times whatever your weapon level is, so whatever your weapon level would be. But yeah, so definitely 2 times that, then you do an extra 6. That's pretty crazy, right? It's a fun little combo there. And they can even do something like this one with it too. We have Shield Strike, play yellow before it, move 2 Struggle. If you're Mastery, increase the damage of the attack deals by 1 weapon level for each defense in your sequence. So yeah, he's going to get some cool advantages by playing both defense and attack cards. Concentrated Attack. Choose another player, increase the damage this attack does by 1 weapon level for each red card in that player's discard pile. If this attack inflicts a wound, inflict vulnerable. Nice. So it's like, hey, somebody else already did a bunch of damage to them. Now you're coming up and you're hitting damage in the exact same spot. And then Rapid Dash. Taunt. List cards on top of your discard pile. All other players' weapons have +1 per weapon damage per your shield. Ooh, that's neat. So boosting everybody else if this is the last card you played. So yeah, if he goes first, he has aggro, he goes first, you play this last, it's on top of your discard pile. Boom, everybody has it. Or you could taunt, draw the monster towards him, someone else gets a card, and then even if he's at the second, even if he went second, right? Or even if he's the last player, right? He can have this go first and he can be sitting on top of his discard pile and everyone else can gain the advantage before he goes. So that's pretty neat. For blue, for our maneuvers, we have Surround. This maneuver removes 1 struggle for each occupied sector. Ooh. We haven't seen an ability like that. We're actually, that's cool. That's neat. Yeah, where positioning makes a difference. Tempo, play a reg after this, remove 1 struggle. Push, if this is your opening card, you get to draw 2. Bulwark, increase the struggle this maneuver removes by 1. When another player would suffer damage, and you are in the front sector, you may discard a card, discard this card from your hand to prevent that damage. If you do, you and that player each draw a card. So yeah, he's on some more cards to gain bonuses if he's in the front sector. Again, taunt would pull that monster to your front section. You pull him to your front sector. Counterattack. When you suffer attack, you may discard this card from your hand to deal 3 damage per level. Bite me, I'll stab you in the face, right? Draw into danger. Taunt. Increase the struggle this maneuver removes by 1. Cool. So get some cool stuff there. Let's get his defense. This should be pretty crazy, right? His parries. He has shield block. When the behavior card is revealed, you may discard this from your hand to cancel the effect of the behavior and confuse the monster. Yes. Which then lets you turn them any direction, so you could turn them away from somebody else. You also turn them so, again, you're in the front sector, which would be very helpful for some of his cards. Plus, it shuts down their boost abilities. Undaunted Charge. Remove 2 struggle. If your mastery confuse a monster, all other players draw a card. Last Breath. Resilience. Deal damage to the monster equal to the damage you currently sustain. Neat. So if he gets hurt a bunch, it's just going to do more damage. And then Resilience is after he suffers attack, you may reveal a card with this card from your hand to draw 1 card. So if you can play this, great, you're going to do some damage. But if you play this otherwise, you can at least get some cards for taking damage. Battle Trance. Taunt and Mastery, draw 2 card. Attack Plan. Assist. List cards on top of your discard pile. Any damage dealt by a monster to any source is increased by 1. Again, really fun because it's assist. You can play outside your turn to get in there, regardless of where you play in the game. In our final yellow one, for parry is Immolate. Choose another player to draw 1 card. You may suffer attack. If you do, all other players draw 1 card instead. Cool. I can see this guy definitely wanting healing effects if we can get some of those. Hopefully get some. In Dodge, he has Stamina Surge. When you discard this card to generate stamina for a red, it generates 2 stamina. Reduce the cost of the card. Reduce the cost of the next card you play in your sequence by 1. Momentum. Played after a yellow. Switch your discard pile for a red card. Add it to your hand. So you get defense. And if you play so the other thing here is that lots your combos so far have been yellow then red. So this will stop that. But at least that way you get a red card to play for some other stuff. Feint. When you discard this card from your hand, draw a card. Preservance. Draw 1 card. Agility. If you paid with a blue card, draw 2 cards. And finally, our starter card is Anticipate. When you suffer attack from a behavior card effect, make discard just to prevent that damage. Nice. Especially because there's lots of stuff that lets him pull damage towards him. Awesome. Let's look at our upgrade cards. We have A1, Tempered Pain, Resilience. You may suffer 1 damage per weapon to draw 1 card. Metal. If your health is critical, less than half, this card counts as 2 green defense for the attrition check this turn. Could be very helpful later on, especially again, you're taking a bunch of damage, help you get at least avoid that attrition. A2, we have Retribution. Increase the damage this attack deals by X for X is the damage you currently sustain. So the more damage he is, the more damage he's going to do. And then Monstrous Effort. Resilience. If your health is critical, you can play the next card in your sequence without paying a stamina cost. This is great for playing them 3-cost cards, right? You get a 3-cost card for free. Definitely cool. So our first updated mastery is Unbreakable. When you are KO'd, place a counter on this card. Interesting. So you're taking damage anyhow. Low focus. Immediately rise. Your health value is increased by 2 per your level shield, and your weapon has +2 damage. That's pretty nice, right? So if you're playing, even if you're just playing your base game, right? And where's our base sword and shield here? So even if you're just playing this, right? Now you have 2 per weapon level. So now you have 2 times level, so that's 4. So now you're doing 4 extra damage. Or 4 extra health. Right off the bat, so it's not bad. Again, early on when you only have 9 health, 4 health is like half your health. Double your health almost. And then if you have 2 damage, you also get 4 damage per your weapon. Which is not bad at all, right? Plus you immediately get a rise, so you don't have to waste your turns getting back up, or other players don't have to waste their stamina. So that can be really helpful, just like jumping in, taking the damage. But it's only going... This is when I focus, rise immediately. So I'm guessing even if you get KO'd a second time, it's going to work. Unless when you get KO'd, you flip your mastery over. Double check that. When you are KO'd, you immediately skip all your steps, discard your hand, add a wound card, deplete your helmet, lay your miniature down. Does not say anything about flipping your mastery back over. Well, damage tokens, generate tokens, skip your turn, yeah. So I wonder if when focused is just the first time you flip it over, as opposed to every time. I'm gonna check. Nope, the rules do say when you're focused, it automatically. So that means the second time you would get KO'd, you immediately rise again, right? So that's kind of cool. So then everything increases even more. So that means second time you get even more health. So basically, as he keeps dying, he gets a little bit stronger and harder to kill. That's kind of cool. Again, it's the difference between having an active effect you can constantly use over and over versus one that gonna hit and then kind of just stays there and does stuff. Interesting though. In B, we have coordinated attack assist. Choose a player to draw a card. Tactical evade. Search your discard pile of the card with the assist and add it to your hand. Assistance. Assist. Discards on top of your discard pile reduce the stamina cost of any other red card players played by 1. Nice. And Eye of the Storm. Reveal any number of cards with assist from your hand. Choose another player to draw that many cards. Nice. This guy's gonna this upgrade be if you really want to assist your teammates. Then we have Shield of Support. When you taunt the monster or assist another player, place a counter on this card. Max 1 per round. Okay, that always makes sense. You can't drop all 3 in one turn. Start. Choose a player in your sector to heal 1. Oh, that's awesome, because you're a player in your own sector, so I imagine you can heal yourself. When you taunt the monster or assist another monster, using a blue, then remove 1 struggle. Using a yellow, draw 1. Or using a red, then deal weapon damage. That's cool. So yeah, if you really like the taunting or assisting abilities with this character especially, obviously this character is using it as cards, but yeah, depending on which color you do is also going to give you an additional effect, so it's not just doing them. And at the start of each turn, you can heal 1 per damage. So like, again, base is 2 every time. 2 doesn't sound like much, but again, if you're only starting off with like 9 or 10 health, 2 is, you know, a quarter of your damage or a fifth of your damage. So that's very helpful. That's cool. Awesome. Let's jump with C. We have Rally. Choose a player to draw or immediately move without paying a stamina cost. Ooh, free movement's helpful. Teamwork. When another player is paying the stamina of a card, you may discard this to reduce the cost by 2. It's not as a guy a tank pulling guys towards them and stuff. He's really the backup assist character. Which at some hand, I can see why some people might love to play him. Oh, I love being like a backup assist guy and help everyone else out. You know, I'll see other people being like, I hate that. I'd rather be the guy running in, doing the attacking, getting to perform my combos and stuff like that. So I can see this both ways. Outflank. At the start of another player's turn, you may discard this card from your hand. You do immediately move without paying any stamina cost. And then our last one for C is Golden Opportunity. Taunt. Choose a player to reveal up to 2 red from their hand. Deal their weapon damage for each card revealed this way. Neat. Just kind of like push focus, another guy gets a free attack out of it. Alright, then we have our mastery of Tactician. Play a blue, place a counter on this card. I want to say, yeah, he has a lot of... Yeah, all his blues for the most part for his weapons, except for the fire one, are 5s or 6s, which are the higher ones. These are always 4, 5, or 6. There's nothing that drops below that or goes above those. When we flip this over, while you're in the front sector, all monster sides are considered to be exposed. Oh, that's fantastic. And play a blue. Choose a sector. Players in that sector may draw 1 or immediately move to a sector without paying any stamina. That's cool. So again, very assist character. Support. For D, we have Over Here. Taunt. You may suffer an attack. If you do, choose a player to recycle up to 2 cards. Recycle again as they can discard up to 2 cards from their hand to draw 2 extra cards. Sacrifice. Assist and Resilience. When a monster regains struggle, you may suffer attack to discard this card from your hand to prevent that struggle gain. Interesting. So you can stop the struggle, or you can use Resilience if you take damage. You can draw cards, or you can assist somebody else. It's a very versatile card. D2 is Shield Strike. Increase the damage as attack deals by 1 weapon level for each yellow card in your discard pile. And let's add another yellow to that. We have Shield Smash. Deal your weapon damage. You may choose to suffer an attack to deal double that damage instead. That's cool, right? The yellow card that does damage plus gives you a defense icon, but you can also potentially do extra damage. Cool. Then we have our mastery for D level. We have Fierce Guard. When you trigger Retaliate, place a counter on this card. Ooh, so that's tricky when that can hit. When you trigger a Retaliate, deal 2 damage per weapon level. Nice. So every time you retaliate, not only now do you get to draw a card from your hand, and again, you're just revealing with those retaliates. You're not discarding it. So you gotta keep that. You gotta draw an extra card. So you also gotta do damage. That's great. And our last upgrade tree is E. We have Snare. You avoid attrition damage this turn. Deal your weapon damage for each defense in your sequence. Ooh, playing a lot of defense. You get free extra damage. Pulsating Fury. If you are the aggro player, draw cards equal to the current stance number. Interesting. That's the first time we have reference to that. E2, Shield Wall. Assist. When another player in your sector would suffer an attack, if this is a top card or discard pile, you may suffer that damage instead. And then finally, we have Guardian Shield. When the monster would unleash, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, if you're in the front sector, prevent the unleash damage. No player suffers damage. And unleash, I believe, is again when they use their boost tokens. Unleash ability, well, that doesn't help. Unleash. When monster gains a certain amount of struggle, if the total struggle is cumulative to 3 per player, it unleashes. All players immediately suffer damage with struggle tokens. So that's why struggle is definitely worth getting rid of. But here it's always, hey, if you happen to have this card, right, if it does, you can at least prevent it, right, for one time. That's pretty cool. And our last master is Bastion. When you avoid attrition, place a counter on this card. So defense cards. And what does that do for us? Increase your hand limit by 1. At the start of another player's attrition phase, that player gains a defense token if you're in their sector. Cool. So you're preventing damage for them. That's awesome. Alright, then our last thing is we get to 2 extra shield cards with the wounds on them. So at the end of the round, discard a card from your hand. Just junk cards that get in your hand, get in your deck when you get KO'd. And then they let you just clog up your hand is all. Awesome. So that was Ljonar, our other characters. So that's cool. That's all 4 of our characters, all 4 of our hunters. Till we get to the expansion, you see the last 2, which would be really cool. See how they differ. So we have an attacker. We have a huge defender here with Ljonar. Got Daron's a straight up attacker, just trying to jump around and move around and stuff. Throg is kind of also like the tank character, but instead of forcing damage, he's forcing attention. So it's kind of different. Ljonar's trying to take the damage from everybody, block stuff, assist, give extra bonuses to people. But he wants to take the damage. Where Thorg, he doesn't mind taking the damage if he needs to, but he's more just trying to draw the attention of the monster towards him, away from the other guys. And then Mira is all about kind of sitting back and sniping from a distance. She has a bunch of them stealth cards and stuff, so it's really cool. I almost feel like if you're going to play this game, you need to always play the 4. Even if you're playing a 2-player game, each player should double play each character. Just always play with all 4 of them. If you even want, you could try playing with all 6, but I think playing 2 players with 2 hands is probably enough of a challenge for some people, let alone having to play 3 hands. But having a 3rd player in there, each player playing 2 characters, I think just having all the different interactivity between each character is very important. It'd be really cool. You can just play 2 characters if you want, though, which got you some interesting stuff as well. Alright, so that's what we have for that. Hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Check out the rest of them if for some reason you didn't. Keep an eye on the rest coming out. We still have all the monsters to go. We'll might end up doing 1 monster per video. Might end up doing 2. Their decks they don't have nearly as many cards as the hunters do, so we might be able to get through each one in a set. Alright, but see you guys then. Bye.